Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GBYWN Australia podcast. Part 2 here with my interview with former GBYWN Australian Heavyweight Champion.
And six-time EBW champion.
Six-time EBW champion. I'm talking to Rex Regum. So this is part 2, Rex. I'm talking about your other half of your WZWA career. And a lot has taken place within the rest of your career thus far. So we left off from when you won the Australian Championship over Dynamo, also known as Luke Monet, who actually just today won that championship back for a second time.
Yeah, what a fucking prick. Now he's
Can
two
you
times.
fucking believe it, mate? Can you fucking believe it?
I told Mitch before that match that if he was going to lose, I said to him, I don't know the outcome, but if you're losing, shoot fight it. Shoot fight it. You're not losing.
Don't let him win.
Don't let him win. I want to be on level with Luke.
So from there, I've lost my spot in the thing. Here we go. Hardcore Hell, 2013. No, sorry. Yeah, 2013? Yes, it is. Three-way. You, Chaos, Three Dog for the GBYWN World Hardcore Championship. We finally get to the finals after all these months. I think you only had one qualifying match. I think Chaos had to go through 2 and Three Dog had to go through 2. The tournament was just a mess because ICWS didn't do their leg of the tournament, which fucked everything up.
There's people like Antilochus that were in the ICWS leg. Antilochus, the hardcore god.
Yes.
Now he's the god, you know.
Daredevil Brian Lowe wasn't in the tournament.
All these people.
I would have liked to have been in it.
Yeah, you were in the ICWS league. Yeah. So if ICWS held up their end of the bargain, we could have had a completely different outcome.
Oh man, and when we and Dan were discussing it on his podcast, he was like, man, it would have been so good if we did it too, because it would have made it so legit that everyone got their chance to be a part of it.
Yeah, not only that, but it's the world hardcore. Exactly. That's why it has, both federations in Australia have
doing it.
Very understandable.
But it is what it is. But, man, you want to talk about a fucking brutal match, that is so fucking brutal.
I remember the ending. I literally throw everything into the ring, come in, and then
you get
Aaron
power
choke bombs me.
I choke bombed onto this pile of wreckage.
Just pile of shit.
Just a wreckage.
Just kendo sticks, Telstra signs, fucking planks of wood, fucking plaster, everything, barbed wire, glass, thumbtacks, everything, man. Everything was in that pile of shit. And I took that.
And to think at this stage you're actually pretty over the hardcore thing, but you're still going out there and having a hell of a match with Chaos and Three Dog, I thought it was great.
Oh,
and Chaos, of course, had to be the one to be the first world hardcore champion.
I think like there's only one other contender, which was Jacob, and Jacob wasn't even in it. So for Chaos to win, it's like, and the fact that at this stage, Aaron and Chaos are semi starting to form their friendship. Within the WZWA. It definitely made sense, especially for them to be the last two in the match as well. I got eliminated first. I had a small problem with it, which I kept to myself until now. Like, this is probably the first time you're hearing about it. I had a small problem with it, with me being like, I put myself through all this brutality as well. But, you think about it, like, Chaos has been there. Like, Chaos and Ice are the reason that hardcore exists in WA yarding. Like, straight up, boom. Those two are the reason, So... to bring Jacob into the mixture, doesn't even matter, really, because Chaos and Ice are the two contenders. One of them had to be the first person to win it. Yeah. And the fact that Chaos won it... Chaos is one of my best friends, he's a brilliant person. And that match... the funny thing is, before the match, Aaron brought, fucking 30 light tubes with him. And I'm like... I am not taking one of those. I was like, if you want to get mercury in your system, go for it. I'm not. So if you actually watch the match, not one light tube is used, and then I get eliminated, and as soon as I'm eliminated, the light tubes come in.
There's more glass than ring.
Yeah, just more glass than fucking anything
So
else.
why did you have a problem being eliminated first?
Okay, I had a problem with being eliminated first purely because I thought that in my mind, it didn't make sense, because I've just come off the feud with Legion, and now Legion split up, and Aaron's doing his little thing with Chaos. So I thought it would make more sense for Aaron to be eliminated first, and then Chaos get the win over me, because this is also carrying on the previous feud that I had with Chaos and Antilochus around the Backyard Championship. This is the carry on from there. I personally thought at the time it would have made more sense for me to get eliminated, and be the last two. But then at the same point, then there wouldn't have been no light tubes in there, and we wouldn't have got to see just the single action that we had go on between Aaron and Chaos, which built up the title just that little bit more as well. So in hindsight, it was the right thing, but before the match, I was a little bit I think it's more of an ego thing as well.
I think looking back, I can tell why I booked it that way, because you just won the Aussie title.
Yes, yeah,
everyone knew you wouldn't be winning the World Hardcore title.
Yeah.
So if it went to your final two, then it would be a foregone conclusion that Chaos would win. So I think by putting Aaron and Chaos there, I think it was like people wouldn't be sure who would win. I mean, obviously, people probably were under the impression Chaos was going to win, but
Mitch would have said that he was under the impression that Chaos would have won.
Yes, Mitch has seen everything that I've ever done. Every swerve.
Your booking is so predictable, Carl. Fuck off. No way. I remember one stage I turned around and I said to you, you were like the fucking what did I say? The Paul Heyman of WA wrestling. That's what I remember that. Yeah, I was turning around, and that was right after the Dan Zeppelin swerve at Wrestlution.
Okay.
I remember faintly. As soon as that happened, I messaged you, going, "You are the Paul Heyman of WA wrestling."
Well, I remember you saying as Dan swung the chair and knocked him out and put me on top, you yelled out, "There's so many twists!"
Yeah, that's me. That's me. Yeah, you can hear it in the recap.
Yeah,
you can hear it in the recap. So many twists.
Yeah,
just my blind as a bloke. So,
I will
so if
say,
anyone
I'm
says
good
that
at
your
a swerve.
booking's predictable, that's bullshit. Straight away.
I think I'm good at pulling a bit of a swerve sometimes. I'm pretty proud of that.
I think you know what's funny about swerves is that today everyone was thinking that you were going to kick out.
Really?
Yeah, me and Ice, me and JD, we were all just standing there, and after you were like, "No, don't do the line, the hump line wall," so we all got kind of just like went back and hid in our little holes, and like we're just sitting there, and like when you lay down and get pinned, I'm like, just wait for the kick out, and then you get fucking pinned, you cunt. You swerve. We're expecting a swerve, and we don't get the swerve. So it's a swerve in itself.
It's a swerve within.
It's like swerve inception right there.
That's amazing. That's just like Inception. All right, so the next match that takes place is one that many involved in the match aren't proud of. I think Jacob likes the match.
I'm gutted with the match.
But we have the first and last ever Battle War match at Battle War Revolution 2013. Esquelito somehow makes it into the match because Ice is unable to compete in the match due to, I think he hurt his back the previous show. So what is your problem with this match? Because Luke Monet on his podcast did not have very much nice things to say about it. But
it's horse shit, the match. It's the worst match I've ever had. Straight out, the worst match I've ever been in. This is including Trampoline Days. The worst match, straight out. There is no flow to the entire match. There was no flow to the entire match. The only spots that took place were like two, which was Luke and Jacob doing their DDT and the barbed wire spot. Other than that, it was the biggest clusterfuck I've ever participated in. The three-way tag match that they had at Wrestlution.
It was so dangerous, man. This Battle War match was so dangerous. But continue.
I know you were annoyed with me at the end of it as well because you were supposed to go through the fucking barbed wire bed with Jacob.
I was saying if you're do it, I'll do it.
And you're standing on the outside, and then Jacob's standing on the edge, and I just hit Jacob, and then like. Through the mask, I could see your face through the mask of you going, "You fucking cunt!" I was supposed to take that with him,
Because I said, "Look, if you're doing it, I'll do it with you." Because I don't want anyone to do something that I wouldn't do.
And
but looking back, that would have ripped up my whole outfit.
Oh yeah, Esquelito would be dead. But the match in itself was just shockingly shit.
The barbed wire bed was just a bad idea.
I wouldn't say it's a bad idea.
I thought it was just. Because, okay, I looked back on the match, I watched it.
Yeah. And
the pinfall that took place took about 2.5 minutes for you to pin Jacob.
Because I was trying to get him off. Yeah, but his hair's all entangled.
And I was like, that's why we can't upload the match, because the pinfall doesn't take place till 2.5 minutes after he's landed on the bed.
After the match, it's like 5 people unwrapping Jacob's hair while he's on the barbed wire bed. So he's got fucking barbed wire digging into his back while people are unwrapping his hair. I walk backstage, and as I walk backstage, Tim goes, "Oh, fuck you then, Chris, if you're not going to help." And I just bird him, and then as I'm walking backstage, I just grab some tin snips and come back out and just cut the barbed wire, get Jacob off the bed, and like just unwrap it now that he's off the fucking barbed wire.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jake, I've never seen like Tim have a bigger look of disappointment on his face than at this point. Yeah. He was like, "Fuck you, Chris. Fuck you. You're a cunt." And all this shit. shit, and I come back out with a pair of tin snips and just cut Jacob off the bed straight away.
Fucking hell, Tim.
Way
to jump to a conclusion there, Tim.
Well, yeah, I don't have any problems with Tim at all, but
I just find it
so funny.
Silly.
You know, it's so funny some of the shit that just comes out. Like Wrestlution when he's setting up the stage and DJ's like, when I thought this couldn't get any gayer, like,
oh man, yeah, that's right. Fuck, and then
mate, that was and then what was it? I think it's 2 events later. I think it was 2 events after that Wrestlution where he had the stage that he was setting up. Oh no, that was the first Wrestlution they were setting up the stage. The Wrestlution where his dad and him built the stage, and then like 2 events later, one of Jack's stupid juvie slut mates is dancing on it in high heels, and the thing collapses on
and takes a chunk out of the leg.
Yes,
Stupid
brilliant.
bitch.
Yes, that's the best thing you've ever done, Tim, is by making that thing dodgy as fuck so that she could hurt herself.
Oh man, that fucking stage. Alright, so from there, we're getting to, I guess this is probably, I'd say it's probably one of the toughest parts of your career so far. Let's talk about, before we get to it, the plan for Wrestlution. I've run it by you. I think I told you a few months in advance. The going plan was for you to win the Battlefield Brawl.
Yep.
Dark Eyes to come out.
I think
excellent.
I think
get
the
day
plan
off.
for that match was as well. I think I said to you, "Is it okay if I go in first and win it?" And you said yes. I'm 99% sure that you said that you had said yes at me going in first and winning it. I'm 99% sure.
But I think Ryan was first, wasn't he?
Or second or something, like, you know, right, really close,
very
close to the beginning. So that way, I'd have like a decent shot at getting the longest time in as well. You know, I think that's what it was. And oh my god, man, breaking my finger.
Chaos would come out. Ice would come out and say, "I'll get the day off at Wrestlution."
Yeah.
Then you would
go, "No, mate, I want that.
Yeah, I want that championship.
Like, I don't care if we're mates. You have that. Yeah. I want it."
And that would eventually lead to the breakup of the Black Carnival.
I think what Alex said in his podcast was correct. In hindsight, is that it would have been too quick. That, like, it, you know, the fact that I broke my finger was maybe like a miracle in disguise. You know what I mean? I think that the breakup and I think that the fact that the turn was at Wrestlution made it so much bigger than if I'd had won at Wrestlution.
Yeah.
You know, and like, even though I'm still so pissed off that I don't have that accolade now as well, you know, that I won the Battlefield Brawl. Like, you know, that's a huge thing. Like, you know, it's one event a year. Like, I know it's not likely to happen, but you could have like 10 WZWA heavyweight champions in 1 year, but you only ever get one Battlefield Brawl winner a year. You know, you know, so it's like, it's a big thing, and you're versing every other person in the company to win it. Like, even though it's fucking fake, you know, it's still a big thing. And when I broke my finger, like the match with Lowe, oh my god, if I hadn't broken my finger, we would have been in the top 3 for Match of the Year contenders, no doubt in my mind. The flow of the match, it was, even when I got back, because Shark, Target, and Brad from AAW were at that show as well, and they helped me and Lloyd plan that match, right? So when I broke my finger, I was just fucking, it ruined my night until I had the happy gas at the hospital, and then I was baked as a motherfucker. Okay. you know, I came back and Ice looked at me and he's like, "You're off your tits, mate."
I remember after the match chatting to you. I think you went away to the hospital and you came back. Battlefield Brawl match hadn't even begun yet.
No, the Battlefield Brawl match. Yeah, no, it hadn't begun yet.
I think it was during Phaser versus Dark Eyes for the title.
If my dad wasn't there, I was going to wrestle.
Because I said to you, I'm guessing you can't do the Battlefield Brawl.
I was going to do it. Yeah. I was 100%, because they had reset my finger. It wasn't in a cast or anything. I couldn't feel my finger at all because they'd given me a local anaesthetic. I was going to wrestle. My dad said, "If you wrestle, you have to work tomorrow." And I was like, "There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to fucking drag branches and carry trees with a broken finger." Yeah. Like, wrestling, like in a Battlefield Brawl match, is a bit different. Like, you could have put me in, like, as the last person. I could have just walked in and eliminated the last guy. That's it. You know, it would have been a shit ending, but it could have happened nonetheless. You know, so the whole reason that I didn't even participate in it was because my dad was there. That's the whole reason. If my dad wasn't there, I was going to do it. Like, I was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm gonna win this shit," you know.
And so, you know, the news comes into me. You can't do it. I'm like, "Fuck! This is the main event of Wrestlution. This is the plan I've got in place. What am I going to do?"
There was
I'm like, the only person I can the only person who has just become so fucking over as a babyface during the show by ruining the wedding.
Yeah, is
Alex. He's
Alex.
the number
That's
one babyface. Like he was so over after that segment. I was like, if he wins the brawl, then there'll be a huge pop. You know, it'll be amazing.
And
so I was
not
like,
only
Alex,
that, but
you're gonna have to do double
But
duty.
not only that,
Resolution.
when I actually broke my finger in the first place, you were visibly distressed. So everyone already knew that I was supposed to win.
Oh,
when I broke my finger, you were just like freaking the fuck
I
out.
made it so
what am I
obvious,
supposed to
didn't
do? What am I supposed to do? You come up to me when Noel is like, I'm sitting in the passenger seat of the car. You walk up, lean over the car, and you're like, fuck man, what am I going to do? And I just say to you, I was like, wait until I get back. Wait until I get back. That's the only thing I could say. And
Such a chaotic time.
I have to elaborate on the car trip with Noel to the hospital though.
Okay.
Noel ran 3 red lights.
Oh really?
He ran because it was like about 9 o'clock at night when it happened, about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So there's fuck all traffic in Joondalup. He's driving, he stops at this red light, he stops, checks the cameras and goes, there's no cameras here. Boom, floors it through. And like I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck, my hand is just getting sorer and sorer every second that goes past. Like the intensity of pain is just increasing. Because when it first happened, I didn't even know. Like when I first did it, I didn't realise until I saw my finger and I went, oh fuck.
Oh.
You know, I fucked my finger up.
It's a 45-degree angle for those playing at home.
Yeah, if you check out Christmas Carnage, was it 2013?
Yes.
Yeah, 2013. Boom, you'll get to see my finger on a fucking weird angle, straight away. But Noel, I'm sitting in the car and Noel's just like, Chris, think of some tight fucking pussy, mate. he's like, they'll take your mind off. They'll take your mind off of the pain. Just think of some hot pussy.
That is a perfect, perfect thing to think about when you're in pain, man.
And it's just lucky. It's just lucky. It's just lucky that I'm a fast healer, and that by resolution I was all healed up and
you're ready to go. Yeah,
I was ready to go because there was a strong chance that they would have. I got told that if I break my hand again, they're gonna have to put a steel plate in my right hand to fix it. To keep everything in the hole. Otherwise, like my hands, I'm gonna get arthritis when I'm older. I've already been told you are going to get arthritis in your right hand when you're older. I've already been told this shit. So I know.
That's not going to help with the wanking.
Yeah. Hopefully I have some tight poontang to do it for me then. But then,
hopefully,
I get some nice misses like you, Carl.
Yeah.
But so thinking about my hand, I'm like, fuck. Like, am I going to be good by resolution? Am I going to be able to even compete at the biggest show of the year? The show where we get pyro. You know what I mean? The show that like Jack and pretty much, if you think about it, everything that Jack, Luke, Jacob, whatever, I say Jack and I because like we had 2 shows before Luke by ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that we're the founders. But in reality, is me, Jack, and Luke are the founders.
Luke on his podcast reckons that he shouldn't be counted as a founder.
He shouldn't, really.
That's what he reckons. He
really?
said, I don't think I should be counted as a founder. I think it's just Jack and Chris.
Really? Well, I'm going to be nice and I'm going to say that I would consider Luke because really, when Jack and I were together, it was just 2 ropes. We only had 2 ropes together. Luke helped set up the 3rd rope with Noel. With me, Jack, Noel, we set up the 3rd rope around the trampoline. So, I would consider that the true beginning, and therefore I consider... Because, honestly, without Luke... Okay, Jacob... I know Jacob's... If he hears this, he's going to be a bit pissed off at me for saying this, but we could be here now without Jacob. No offence. We could have, because we were all going to go to a wrestling show no matter what. When Jacob came along, obviously it helped so much. Like we had a 4th person. We finally had a 4th person on our roster. We could now have 2 people versus each other. We could have 2 matches in which both people weren't wearing masks.
Okay,
Finally we could do that. But for the whole pretext of the entire company and the entire history, Jacob was not necessary for us to be at this point. Obviously it helped. Most definitely it helped along a lot. But Luke is definitely a founder. Even if he doesn't consider himself, I consider him. Even though when I say in the thread that only Jack and I are the founders, it's not me being deadly serious. It's like lightheartedly saying that we're the founders.
Yeah.
Because
And what is our original point? We're talking about not winning the Battlefield Brawl, the broken finger.
Yeah,
I can't remember. We got off track talking about Jack and Luke. I'm not sure
I'm not really sure why, but like,
yeah, I don't. It had something to do with
random tangents. It happens.
Fair enough. Dan Zeppelin did ask in the Q&A, but I'm slotting it in here because it makes sense for this point. He said, you've had a few successes taken away from you, example, Battlefield Brawl. Did these circumstances have a negative impact on your enthusiasm, or did it fire you up to get those opportunities back?
Both. Straight away, both.
Because I will say, man, once you weren't winning that Battlefield Brawl, between then and Wrestleution, oh man, I was just like, you're distraught.
I was.
And I was like, there's no talking to him because he's so distraught over what's taken place. There's nothing that I can offer him that's going to make him feel better.
I would say that was like the worst place in the history of like WZWA have been. I had told you in between Christmas Carnage and Wrestleution that Wrestleution was going to be my last match. You remember that because this is at the point where I'm training with AAW. This is at the point where I'm training with AAW as well. I told you Wrestleution is my last match.
My memory was better.
Yeah,
I'm sure because
you remember. You do remember. You sort of
kind of like remember something, but I didn't realize it was then.
No. This is the period of time.
So you did say that.
Yeah, I'd told you in between Christmas Carnage and Wrestleution that I've had enough. Fuck this bullshit. I'm just going to go and focus on my professional career because at this period of time, I had asked.
What made you change your mind? Because you must have changed your mind for me to not make you drop the belt.
What changed my mind was, I think, James Grace, I think, was being a fuckwit to me. I think that's what legitimately changed my mind. If James Grace was nicer to me, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be here at the moment. Okay. You know what I mean? I think that's what it came to. But you know, as the events took place, it was the best thing that could have happened. It was James Grace being a fuckwit, you know. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the rest of the feud with Ice, and I wouldn't have had the match with Low. Well, sorry, I would have had the match with Low, but I wouldn't have had the rest of the feud with Ice. I wouldn't now be in the position that I am now with wrestling. I wouldn't have had the match with Steel. I wouldn't have.
Yeah, you would have had all these awesome.
things. So many opportunities have come up since then. Though, but I will say that with what Dan Zeppelin said, I'd say that basically. The 2 weeks after Christmas Carnage, it was fucking horrible. Like it destroyed me. I felt like what the fuck is the point anyway? Like, yeah, I do have this championship, but what is the point? Like every time I try and do something, like something bad happens to me. Like with Aaron, I fucking almost broke my neck. I broke my finger. You know. Yeah. It just felt like I was just so down in the dumps, and not only that, but there was lots of shit going on with my personal life at that period of time as well. It just really wasn't a great period for me personally, as well as as a wrestler. So the biggest thing that probably brought me back was the fact that they were just pricks to me in the pro wrestling, and you know, I'm actually thankful for the fact that they were pricks. You know, because if it wasn't, I did hang around for another, 6 to 8 months. I can't really remember the timeline of it. Yeah. You know, but that was just rather than me just hanging around purely because of the fact, I smoked weed with Brian Kendrick and Paul London. How many fucking people in WA can say that they smoked weed with two professional wrestlers?
I can't.
Got smashed as a motherfucker. You know, who can say that Paul London and Brian Kendrick cook them kangaroo kebabs? Who the fuck can say that shit?
I can't.
You know. Exactly,
So it was worth it.
So I won't say that joining AAW was a shit experience because
in a whole it wasn't. Holly, so I'm alright.
Oh yeah, fucking Bob Holly's a sick cut, Yeah. So
Tommy Dream was a bit of a letdown, but
Chavo was awesome.
Chavo was cool. Man.
It was a sick cunt. The only problem I have with Chavo Guerrero is the fact that he likes Superman more than Batman. That's the only problem I have. But the opportunities that AAW gave me were really good. It's just that there's a couple of people backstage that were twats.
We'll get to
AAW. But yeah, exactly. That's why I left the tangent there because I've got a rant built up for later on in the podcast.
Yeah,
big rant.
There's going to be a big one, and I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Because I can't wait to join.
And you know what, the Shark, if you're hearing this, what I said to you 2 weeks ago about rejoining you cunts is a load of shit. I was just really depressed, and I don't know why I messaged you, cunt.
Trust me, he's not listening. Okay.
Yeah, but that's just a bit of comedy anyway for you boys. Whoever listens to this, I suspect DJ's the only one listening at this point. because we're still on the Christmas Carnage Wrestleution thing. I went off on a tangent.
Yes.
When it comes to Wrestleution, I was so fucking in such a shitty position until what transpired with AEW happened. And after AEW, both parts of your question are 100% correct. After what happened with AEW, I set out to make Wrestleution Weekend my Ric Flair moment. I set out for me to go out there, defend the championship 3 days in a row. Fucking, you're 3 days in a row. Friday,
I was
Saturday,
trying to
Sunday.
explain to you how important it was. It was really good. This is going to be a really big weekend for
But
you. I'm really excited.
those sort of things you only get to really acknowledge in hindsight.
I guess you don't appreciate it until now. You're looking back, that was actually fucking cool.
Yeah, because
no one's ever done that
at the
before.
time, I'm still really fucking down about what's going on with Christmas.
I don't think anyone's ever defended the title 2 days in a row.
Yeah, and let alone 3.
Like maybe if there was a backyard TV, and then but
that
doesn't count.
Let alone 3 days in a row.
It's like Del Carno defending it against Brandon Cage, and then defending it against
Mykonos.
Whoever.
The caliber of Brandon Cage compared to the caliber of Mykonos, exactly. But this was 3 days of versing Brian Lowe, then I versed Shinigami, which actually, let's go on the Shinigami.
Let's get into this.
Let's get into Shinigami, because this needs to be mentioned, right?
I did not have an opponent for you. I couldn't figure out what to do. You wanted Lowe.
Yes, I wanted Lowe.
Lowe was in the ladder match. I was like, can't have Lowe. The only person I got wants to have his last ever match against you, and that's Tim. And you said no. I don't want to wrestle Tim.
I was so fucking fuming about that.
I was like, I'm sorry,
why am I
dude.
Fuming?
This is all I've got.
And Tim found out about what I said as well,
because
and
Tim kept on poking me about it. He wanted the match, and I was like,
Chris doesn't want to wrestle you.
He wants to wrestle Lowe.
And Tim was not happy.
Very upset. Upset.
And it wasn't like a dig at Tim.
It had nothing to do with
It had nothing to do with Tim. It was the fact that I was supposed to main event fucking against Ice for the WZWA Heavyweight Championship. And it felt like now I'm getting dropped down to a person in which nobody knows who this guy is anyway, because he didn't want anyone to know. Right? So no one knows who he is anyway. This is like the 6th time he's retired now. He had like 6 other matches in which he was supposed to retire.
But I knew this time was definitely lost.
Yes, but do you know what? I'm so glad I had that match. I am so glad I had that match.
Did too, it was really
Tim
good.
and I tore the fucking with the amount of time that we had to plan. Because of how I was resisting pretty much up until the night before Wrestleution. I was like, I'm not versing Tim up until I verse Lowe, pretty much, like I'd accepted it, but I was still sort of like trying to get you to change it to a degree, and then we go out and actually have the match, and Jesus, okay, I suplexed Tim onto the stage that we had set up, right, which is just solid wood, right? I suplex him. As soon as I suplex him, I get this shooting pain go down my shoulder, and I just roll over and I go, "You're a mad cunt!" Like I've just destroyed. I just felt this pain in my shoulder. It was ridiculous. I don't understand why. Like
Before we get to the match, Rex, we're getting on a tangent here. I gotta reel you in a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna reel me in. I'm not gonna cut you off because I'm not DJ.
That's what I want, man. But eventually you do agree to do the match with Tim, which I think it meant a lot to him to have a match against someone for his last match, someone that he knew he could have a good one with. But Tim's time in WZWA has been very, tumultuous. It's like he was here as Tim Justice, then he went.
I think
he did the mask thing, then he went, then he came back, and then he kind of was on and off, and then so his Shinigami run wasn't as I think what he hoped it was going to be.
When he was Shimigami, it was also at the stage where you were like, we're taking the mask character seriously. That's when he started as Shimigami.
And he was the only character that really got to be taken seriously.
He was the only mask character that was taken seriously. He what was it? Who did he face where he jumped off the birdcage? That's still one of the sickest spots I've seen.
Phaser,
and I'm so glad that Noel didn't see that, otherwise Noel would have killed him for being on top of the birdcage.
That actual birdcage swanton is actually in one of the GBYWN montages.
Oh yeah, that's
Welcome
awesome.
To Backyard Wrestling Weekly.
Yeah,
and Rad's asked me, give me one spot from WZWA. I was like, that looks so good.
It has to, it has to just like boom. But the funniest thing is that only one of the table breaks under him as well. The other table's perfectly fine. But it's still like. I will say that Tim is one of the ballsy motherfuckers that I've ever wrestled with. Like he's willing to take more shit than Jacob is, and he's also got more knowledge than like Mykonos or DJ. Like I would say that Even I think the biggest problem that Tim has is he gets too excited. You know, that's what it is. He's still like that little kid when it comes to wrestling, which is, I wish I could still have that passion. I really do. I wish I could still be like that.
Me too.
You know, seething at the bits. Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah.
So
I also think that's the biggest problem with him, is that he's too excited, so he overthinks the situation.
Yeah,
and like
too much.
he's too thinking about it too much rather than just letting the flow take over. I think that's what his biggest problem is. But you know, the match at Wrestleution, I fucking, you know,
and
I couldn't have asked for a better match.
We will get to it. But let's
we're
get to Backyard TV. Friday night Backyard TV.
Yeah.
We get to meet Rusty.
Oh yeah,
which is you know, amazing for us to have him come over.
But
you
awesome
know what,
guy.
dude? We got to talk about the incident because everyone's waiting to listen to us talk about the incident that took place at Backyard TV between you and I.
Oh Jesus!
So obviously you have admitted that you're not in a very good place at the time, and you just, I don't think you realised the way you're acting, and I think our relationship was strained for that whole month because we were just, you know, bickering back and forth about what you were doing at Wrestleution. I'm like,
oh man, you were lucky I had a broken finger because I was about to punch you in your head. Literally, if my hand wasn't broken, that situation would have escalated to even higher levels.
Yes,
yeah.
But you know, as it stands, we know what took place. You wanted the old Aussie title. I told you Ryan made a new belt, we're sticking with the new belt. It wasn't looked after, unfortunately, so it was looking a little bit frail in comparison to when it first came out, but I wanted you to use that title, and the other title was at my house in the car.
Yeah, exactly. So I had come out at Christmas Carnage with Mitch's old title.
That's why I took it, put it in the car.
Yeah, and and Carl, right, he'd taken the other title and took it home and left it at home. So I've come up to him at the next show, and I'm looking for like 20 minutes. Where's the title gone? And I got the call. I'm like, man, have you seen the other title? And he's like, yeah, I took it home. I'm like, are you for real? And he's like, yeah. He's like, Ryan made that title. He spent hours on it. You're using that title. And Ryan, I will say straight up, it had nothing to do with you. I respect you immensely. This had nothing to do with you. It was no disrespect to you whatsoever. And
do you know my point? Do you know where my point of view is, though?
Yeah, I understand.
Because he had to take a bus to the library.
He had to take a bus to the library.
Came back, but then he forgot one thing and had to go back and print more.
Yes. So, but the my thought process is, fuck Ryan, I'm the champion, you know, and. At this stage, Monet was a turd to that championship belt. He destroyed it. When he got that championship belt,
he didn't look after it.
It was made for him. He was the first person to hold it, and then I was the second person, and it's still around now, but it's in terrible
I think it's
condition.
in Mitch's house or something.
You know, is it?
Yeah, because he had it at home, then he brought the new championship. I think he left the other one at home.
Oh, okay then. All right, well, fair enough. But you know, the title was in such bad condition. I tried to fix it up at Christmas Carnage. I'd spray painted it silver just to get all this fucking stupid cardboard that you could see out of it. You know, that's why you can see in the match where I'm facing Low, Monet has a look at the title and goes, why has it changed colour, as he's holding it up, you know, jokingly saying. You know, so I was fucking just seething when I heard that Carl. I'm like, I've broken my finger, I've come back, I'm not fucking wrestling Ice tomorrow. I'm like, literally still in the mind point where I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, I'm still on the verge of like dealing with James Grace's shit, on the verge of still just like going, fuck all this shit, I don't care anymore, I'm just going to go and like try and be a professional wrestler. So I go and grab the title that I'm currently having, which is the one that Ryan has. I just walk up to a bin and just go, fuck you, Carl, have a look at this, boof, chuck in the bin. I turn around and you did cheap shot me. You did.
I don't think it's a cheap shot.
It was
a
cheap
slap
shot
to the face. That's about it.
Yeah. As I turn around, have no time to defend myself. Okay. Well, let's not get into it.
Wait for you to just be looking at me, then slap you in the face.
You know,
I'm just going to slap you when I'm.
Yeah, it's lucky it was an open hand.
I wasn't going to punch you.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that you were really stressed out as well about wrestling at that point. You were feeling burnt out. So I
was burned out.
So the culmination of your emotions were getting to you as well. It wasn't just my emotions at that point.
But do you still feel you shouldn't have put the belt in the bin? Do you think it was a good decision to do that when we're in the middle of bickering?
Oh.
Do you not understand that piece of cardboard is a symbol of trust, and when someone does that in front of me, that's me getting very upset?
Yeah, but do you understand my situation? In my situation, in which we were, in which I wanted the old belt, which was in better fucking condition than the new belt, you know, and I had garnered Mitch, DJ, and JD Flames support for bringing back the old belt. They had all supported me in bringing back the old one. They thought,
that's not what we were going to do, though.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, but like, if we had fixed up the old belt, I would have had no problem in actually, having it. The fact that it was like, I was wearing this thing around, I was the champion, and I thought that this looked like a piece of shit that was around my waist. Like, it's not against Ryan, because when Ryan had first made the belt, and when Luke had first got the belt, it looked amazing. It was brilliant. It's better than the old title, but in the current condition, it was shit. I should not have thrown it in the bin. It was a bit of a dick move. Yeah, but in the circumstance in which the argument had been, like, the only move I had was either to accept the fact that you had gone behind my back and taken the title.
It wasn't going behind your back. It was just making a decision. Well, I don't want this used. I'm taking it.
Yeah, but at the same point, the thing that makes the GBYWN Australian Heavyweight Championship special from a bookings perspective is the person that holds that belt gets input on who he drops the belt to. That's the golden rule that's been with every GBYWN champion. Australian champion since you first won it. The first champion ever. That was the rule that Rad has an input, is that the person who wins the belt has input on where he loses the belt and who he loses it to, because it's an inter-federation belt. So I felt that like I was just getting like no input on what was going in with my title. I just fucking fucked over like the biggest shot opportunity I had in WZWA. So at that point in time, I really did not give a fuck what you thought. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it's a lot different now, but then I had no shits were given. I didn't care, and I pretty much as soon as like the situation was over and Chaos came over and broke it up, because like it would have probably broken out into a brawl if Chaos didn't come over and split it up.
Yeah,
But you were seething, I was seething. Chaos,
I was upset.
Chaos took me around the corner.
Chaos
took me around the corner and was like, "What's going on, man?" So I like talked to him for 20 minutes, and Chaos told me not to talk to you for the rest of the day. And I went, "Fuck you, Chaos, on my own, man." I went straight up to you and I went, "I'm sorry, man."
And then you got. I know you got very upset.
It was the wrong thing to
do. There was tough times going on in your personal life and all that.
And I'm pretty sure we buried the hatchet like straight away.
After that, the rest of the backyard.
The show was amazing. It was amazing,
and it was only like 4 matches. But it was awesome fun.
It was just one of those situations in which I blew my fuse. You went, "Fuck you, cunt! If you're blowing your fuse, I'm going to short out." And then boom, it just huge explosion, and then we took 20 minutes to calm down, and we just talked to each other. It wasn't one of those situations in which we both just decided,
and we buried the hatchet.
Yeah,
bro.
And
look, we'll agree to disagree. I don't think it was a cheap shot. You do. That's fine. Look, we can agree on things. We can agree on things and still like each other and still be friends. It's okay. But it was one bad moment in time.
But it's not even like. The situation takes precedence over how we were feeling anyway. The situation is there's so much more going on. Like,
it's not just about throwing a title in a bin. It's about what's going on in your life and what's going on in my life within the realms of backyard wrestling and personal lives.
I would say that like neither you nor I are bigger than WZWA as a whole. You could leave, I could leave, and WZWA would still be WZWA.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be a lot different, but it would still be there.
Yeah.
Unless Noel decided, "Fuck this shit, we're not going to have it anymore."
Yeah.
That's the
only one who's bigger than WZWA is Noel Wallace.
Yeah, that's the only person that's bigger than WZWA. Yeah, straight up.
Oh, man.
So like, I think we both like realised that we were both in the wrong. I think,
and I felt very bad because I was like, man, I don't want to hit my friends. I've got the Italian thing in me, so I got knee-jerk reactions.
You just turned into Sopranos,
sometimes
man.
When I see red, and then when I was yelling at you, my voice is, when I yell and I'm angry, I just sound like an old Italian man. But when
you're fucking dickhead, why are you throwing
the
it
accent comes in? I never have an accent any other time but when I'm angry.
Like if Nonna see you do that, she fucking throws spaghetti in your face.
I almost said number 62, please. Okay, let's get to the match with the Backyard TV. You got to have the match that you wanted to have at Christmas Carnage. I thought
it was as much as I could have asked for.
It was such a solid main event.
After what had transpired at Christmas Carnage, to have that match with Lope was just a dream come true. scream, and literally after that match with Lowe, boom, passion is right back again. Bang.
Yeah.
That match, Lowe, I thank you so much for having that match, and cunt, you need to return because you are a top-notch wrestler, and
I wish you would,
that
man.
that match, Rusty came up to both of us after the match and went, "Fuck, that out of all of the matches I've seen, that was one of the best psychology I've seen in a match." You know, and Lowe doesn't know shit about psychology.
No,
right? He knows nothing about psychology whatsoever. He does something.
He knows about doing cool moves.
Yeah, exactly. He does something because he thinks it's going to be cool. Right?
Yeah.
He has no idea about psychology. And to go into that match in which we literally, Law and I said to each other before the match, we're going to use the same plan as Christmas Carnage, and we did. We did.
Good.
You know,
good.
except for the
that's the attitude you should have.
except for the opening spot. The opening spot we changed, but everything else was exactly the same.
Cool.
It was exactly the same. And you know, I feel like it wasn't as good as what we could have had at Christmas Carnage because the flow of Christmas Carnage was just amazing and I said to Target before I even got into the car to go to hospital at Christmas Carnage, I said to him I should have told Lowe to cut me off for the moonsault.
Yeah.
Before I said it was too
You were still thinking about it.
I was still thinking about the psychology. I said to Target,
geez.
I was like, it was too early. I should have told him to cut me off. You know, but you know, and then we go in, but I also had the experience as well of already knowing of like what's going to happen, if you know what I mean. So there's a spot in that backyard TV match where I go up to the top rope and everyone's like, no, don't do a fucking moonsault, and Lowe cuts me off.
Very good.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
So you
so
did
I
a
think
little tease.
Yeah, we had like a
like
little.
you could actually do it again.
Yeah, you know, and I've never done the moonsault since I broke my finger as well. You know, it's surprising.
But Wrestlution, let's get to it. Let's just, you know, you spoke briefly on it before, but you and Shinigami went out there and had a very good match.
And just the rebuttal is that, like, I didn't want to face Tim. I'm glad that I faced him. You know, it's easy as that. I didn't want to do it to begin with, and then as soon as we got in and had the match, it was awesome. The bump on the stage is the most resounding thing in my mind because I suplexed him on the stage and I hurt my shoulder. So I don't know what happened to him at all, you know. The fact that I hurt my shoulder coming down for the suplex, that just must mean that, like, what happened to the lower part of his spine was, like, tenfold increased.
Yeah.
So the fact that he took that, and then we went out there, and oh, man, it was I wouldn't say it was the best match of the day, because it wasn't by far. I would say that it was a solid match, and that it was good enough to be on a Wrestlution show.
Fantastic, yeah.
And I'm glad.
And actually, I forgot to mention, there was actually a street fight that you guys had late the year before. You guys had actually had one match.
Yeah, Tim and I had that match
just
before.
after he got kicked
left.
out of
Left the
Black Carnival.
And
but
so I'm undefeated against the Great Shinigami.
I can't remember what event it was. After his match with FaZe or whatever event that was.
I think it was like the event after Frostbite, like 2013 or something. Something along that.
I must have forgot to put it in.
But anyway, you had that one. Yes.
I want to now, before we get to this match that you had with DJ the next day, and you're also getting kicked out of the Black Carnival as well. I want to go over your thoughts on the Black Carnival and the other members in the group, and who was the best to the least. You know,
what do you mean as mask characters?
Just the mask characters. You know. Who was best? Who was best, and who was least?
Who was the best mask character? Scream, hands down.
I love Scream.
Scream wins. Scream. You could book Scream as a legitimate character, and it would be amazing.
Once upon a time, Lowe said, "I'm thinking about not doing Lowe anymore."
I remember that.
Scream.
Lowe was cooked as a motherfucker at my house one time, right? And he turns around and he's like, "Man, I just want to be a gimp." I'm not sure if Jacob remembers. You know, he was fucking spaced out of his head because Jacob and Chaos were both there as well. It was me, Jacob, Chaos, and Lowe, and Aaron. 3Dog was there as well, right? And yeah, Lowe was talking about just being Scream, just like, you know, I don't think like the Rebellion's doing too well. Jacob was asleep at this point because Jacob didn't. Because I remember because if Jacob had heard what he said about the Rebellion, Jacob would have chucked the shits. So Jacob was asleep. Yeah, and Lowe's just like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna be Scream from now on and shit. And I thought it was the funniest shit. And he could have pulled off Scream.
Yeah,
he could have.
Over it.
It could have been pulled off. You know, it was funny. But like, it'd probably be like, what was it? Scream, Esqueleto, TGS, Yoshiaki. That's probably like the ranking I put him in. Like, it'd be probably Scream, Esqueleto, done. Like, you know, Scream and Esqueleto were like the comedy factor. And then you got TGS and Yoshiaki. Mitch,
you and I said ultra serious, but then you got these dickheads screaming Esqueleto.
Yeah, Esqueleto, Black Carnival.
Yeah, Yoshiaki didn't really have much.
Yoshiaki really like.
He had the mist, and that was about it.
I think he was there purely because he was a masked character.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't much going on with it. And Mitch really didn't give too many shits about Yoshiaki anyway. It was just Yoshiaki was there as a filler, and that's all Mitch saw it as. Anyway. Mitch had no aspirations of being like changing up his style for Yoshiaki and like actually trying to build him up as a character.
Yoshiaki's main move was a kick.
I think
just a thrust kick to the head, mafia kick to the head.
Yeah, and
it's his finisher.
I think the main reason Yoshiaki came about was because of MWF. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason Yoshiaki exists, because of MWF.
Alright, so let's get to the end of your match with TGS. You get kicked out of the Black Carnival. Long journey with you and Ice, and finally it's come to its end.
Yes. Very long journey indeed.
Yeah. So...
Wrestleution 1, we are now at Wrestleution 3, so 2 years of Black Carnival.
Yeah, man. So, thoughts on getting kicked out, the segment of getting kicked out.
Okay, the funny thing... sorry about that. The funny thing is about that segment is that after Ice says what he says to me, he's supposed to hand the mic to me, and then after I tell him I don't need the Black Carnival, is when the guys jump me. That was the cue.
And then he didn't
even give me the mic, didn't give me a chance to speak or anything. He's just like, get him, boys. And like, I remember, I'm just getting beaten down. I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on? I'm confused as a shit. Ice is confused. You can see on his face, Ice is confused because I'm not fighting back yet. Scream is just gone, and then you, as Esqueleto, whisper in my ear, fight back. like you take control of the situation as Esqueleto. It was hilarious
because it's like I'm like there's only so much I can do here just hitting you until
you're like low blow me and scream and fight back. So I low blow both of you guys and I just jump off and like stumbling backwards and forwards like a drunken boxer. The segment, I thought it was awesome. It wasn't a bad segment, no, definitely not. It didn't go the way it was planned, but it was a fun little segment.
I thought it was cool. And the choke slam was just
that choke slam
choke
slam is the best choke slam I've ever taken or seen. Like,
I'll give you that credit. You take a good choke slam.
I got so high, like I was like 8 foot in the air, legitimately, and. A lot of people don't tuck their knees when they take the choke slam. That's what makes it look good. Because if you just jump vertically straight up, like your legs are...
Last time I took one, I think I tucked my knees too much.
Yeah. Oh, you neck bumped the fucking shit. You died, man. Diffuser killed you. Diffuser
I was like, this has got to be the biggest choke slam of all time that I can even possibly do.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't tuck their knees, like Jack and fucking... Jack. That's all I can think of at the moment.
So, okay, you're turning babyface now. So, babyface. I think by this point you're probably like, you know what? I'm fucking relieved. I'm no longer a heel. You've been doing it for a long time now, and you've never had the opportunity to do a babyface.
No, I was facing ICWS first. And then Jacob and I both turned heel.
That's true. Yes. But, you know, that's really just getting your feet wet in it. You didn't really get to really...
To be perfectly honest, I hate being a face because it's so difficult. You have to work so much harder. I love it but hate it at the same point. You know, I love it because you have to work harder, but I hate it because you have to work harder at the same time.
But you see, some say being a heel is so easy, but then look at Jack when he was a heel.
But Jack's just awkward. He's just awkward.
Like some other people couldn't do being a heel, but...
Jack was a better heel when he was a face. He was getting more heat as a face than when he was as a heel. So but no.
At the time, though, you were relieved.
No, not really. I didn't care either way at the time. Like, honestly, it was just, in my perspective, it was just like I either come out and go yeah, or I come out and go fuck you all. Like, that's how I thought of it at that present moment. Obviously, now I think I'm trying a lot harder now. I went through like 3 changes of theme songs. I know it's a stupid way of like signifying your heel/face turn. I know you hate it so much when people are just constantly changing.
I just wish someone would just stick to a theme song. Like, I'm stuck with Huey Lewis.
For the last 3 shows. Last 3 shows, I've come out with Huey Lewis and the news.
But you did have it before that, didn't you?
No.
I thought you had. Oh, okay.
No, before
Sorry,
that, I
I'm
was
forgetting
using-
that we've only the last three shows.
I went from
equals
Pearl
6
Jam.
months
I went from Pearl Jam
to Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, to Rage Against the Machine, to Soil, to Huey Lewis and the News.
Fuck's
That's
sake.
my face turn. 4 theme songs for my face turn. And I'm sticking with Huey Lewis and the News. And the main reason I've chosen it to be square anyway is because I'm trying to signify that I'm no longer that dodgy, sketchy Black Carnival person. Like, Born of a Broken Man by Rage Against the Machine was like to signify that Ice,
The feud.
Ice is the broken man. I was born from him. I'm a stronger man than he is.
Okay, so
that's what,
now that's thinking about your theme song.
Yeah, that's what
instead of what sounds cool.
Well, that's what my promo was about. If you remember the promo in which I debuted that theme song, it was Ice. You
did mention it.
He's like, you are the broken man. I'm the stronger man than you are. He's like,
And let's wait till we get to
you've
that.
created
Okay?
the monster.
We've got to wait till we get to
Yeah.
it. We're getting ahead again, Rex. We're getting too excited about other things. But let's talk about the next day, ICWS. What a match with you and DJ. I think you guys have tried to recreate the same magic that you had on that day.
Man. Okay.
But that.
What do you mean? That was our first match.
The first match.
Yeah, that ICWS match was our first match.
And
That
since
is
then,
the magic. That is the magic.
Since then, I think the 2 other times you guys have wrestled, you've almost got there. But that first match was just so good.
Actually thinks that our last match was the best one. I don't. I think the first one was as well.
I think the first one, without a doubt.
Yeah.
When you've got the guy who is booking the title in the other federation, thinking that you're going to change the title over, then
Do you know?
I think you're doing a good job if you get faking me out.
Man, if you watch the recap back, Rusty was planning his match with Dan Zeppelin at that time. If you watch about like 2 minutes into that match, right, he puts down his pen and pad. That has to say something.
Yeah.
That Rusty puts down his pen and pad in order
He's
to
like,
pay
you know what, this is
attention.
actually
Pay
working.
attention, because he was watching it, but he was also thinking of stuff at the same time. And then, like, you see, like in the recap, like 30 seconds into the match, in the recap, which is like about like 10 minutes in the actual match itself, right? He's no longer got the pad in his hand, and that right there is the biggest achievement
When you
in
can
my
pick
backyard
someone out
wrestling career.
investing in it,
That's
a big achievement.
That's my biggest achievement in backyard wrestling right there, is the fact that DJ and I were able to fucking just create such beautiful magic in that match. And the best thing about it is I was trying to do the because Jacob and I were heel tag team, and we were trying to do like a fucking the Blackest Hour sort of thing, like hell, just demonic, psychotic nutcases, right? Like, I had actually told Jacob that I wanted to base my gimmick off of Patrick Bateman, the American Cycle sort of thing, and then I just swerved it crazily, and I started doing this stupid selling where I was just screaming like a high pitched scream, like a shriek, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck are you doing, Rex?"
I think that stands this day as your best ICWS match so far. I think
that my match with Chaos came close, and my match with you came close as well. But yeah, I would say
I'd
that's the
say,
best match yet.
as far as drama,
because oh man,
you created that drama.
And do you know what was the best thing about that match is that DJ was super pumped. DJ was more pumped than anyone else. He was like seething at the bit to fucking just come out and wrestle me. Like, I was at the point where I was like, cool, like, I wrestle DJ, like, he's a sick person, I haven't wrestled him before, he's a nice guy, all this type of stuff. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to actual technical wrestling. I'm going to get a sick technical match out of him. I did not think we were going to have that much of a hard-hitting match.
Excellent.
I thought we were going to go out there, chain for a bit, do a few holds, he'll do his whole biting gimmick, I'll hit the finisher, win. No, it just turned into magic.
Rightio. There are more problems between you and I arising again. I think at one stage between Resolution and Combat Crisis, you said to me something along the lines of something about being number one babyface, or something about was I going to be winning the WZWA heavyweight title?
Oh yeah,
And then we had this
you.
big back and forth messages. I can't remember everything, but one thing that you definitely stated was, I want to be WCW heavyweight champion.
Yes, that was, yes.
And I was like, look, I want you to focus on
I gave
the
you
Aussie
an
title.
ultimatum. That's what I did. I
That's
gave you.
right,
I
yeah.
gave you the ultimatum, which was you either give me that title or you're not going to see the best of Rex Regum anymore.
Yeah,
That's-
and I said you got to focus on your Aussie title reign. Let's just stop worrying about the WZWA thing.
And then I still went along with it because I'm pretty sure I versed Ice.
Combat Crisis, you took on Alex Stone for the Australian Championship.
Okay.
And
It's
then I
around,
took
it's
on
around
Ice.
this period of time where I cut the promo, which was, if I win this match, which I did win, I'm the next one in line for the title. And that's what forced you to do the WZWA State of Affairs. Because, yeah, that was the main thing that forced you to do it, was what I said. I remember you saying that to me, because I asked you, why are you bothering with the WZWA State of Affairs? Because I have to explain all this shit to people. You've cut this promo, Mitch has cut this promo. There's other things going on with this storyline. I have to explain, this isn't going to happen. This is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I remember that whole period of time. I don't think we were really arguing per se. I think we were actually quite on good personal terms.
Because the next show we had a match, so we were fine.
Yeah, we were on good personal
but
terms.
you wanted something that I couldn't give you
booking
right then.
Booking terms, I was just telling you what I wanted. This is what I want. If you can do this, do it.
Yeah,
Straight away.
And I said, I can't do it. I want you to continue worrying about your Aussie title reign right now, because, and I kept saying to you, this is Alex Stone's year. This is Alex Stone's year. But anyway, speaking of Alex Stone, you finally got to have your one match you had with him at Combat Crisis.
Which I will say was third time lucky. We were booked to face each other twice before.
I remember.
And both times got fucked over.
Was the first one the first show of the ring?
WZWA match. It was the first WZWA match I was booked to... the first one with the rig. I was booked to face Alex, but Alex was like, I'm not going up to that shit. They're just backyarders. That was his reaction. It wasn't... He didn't have music or anything. He just didn't show it. Yep. And,
But there was what was the other one?
The other one was I was booked to ICWS to face him, and then I couldn't show up on that show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was for I think actually it was for Alex's tag team partner. I was supposed to face him, and then we are going to tease that I was going to tag with him, but because I was already tagging with Jacob, that was
okay.
Yeah.
That whole thing with the
happen.
tag title thing in ICWS was a nightmare. I was told the whole time I was going to be the perfect match.
Yep.
And then I find out that
Even
this person,
I've heard about
and then this person, and I'm like,
I heard from DJ that you were going to win it as well, because DJ was filling me in on some of the small booking around this time, because I wasn't fully involved with ICWS. I was watching the recaps and all this shit, and I was messaging DJ.
I think what happened was Alex shot
messaging Chris,
himself in the foot.
messaging Dan, and all that sort of stuff, and to be honest, I think the biggest thing that killed ICWS was Chris Zeppelin. Chris Zeppelin single-handedly brought down ICWS.
Because
not inadvertently, but he was the one who was the genius of ICWS. You could have had your input, DJ, Ice, Chaos, you could have had Vince Russo come into ICWS and it would not have been good as Chris Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Nothing could have matched.
Well, I mean,
and,
he was
and it's
just
only,
so
and it's
good at
only
what he
in
did.
that environment, if Chris Zeppelin tried to come to WZWA, he wouldn't be able to match what you're doing. You know what I mean?
No.
It's those sorts
He
of
can only do it
circumstances.
in-
It's
yeah.
that sort of circumstance.
Understood. Alright, so the match with Alex, happy with how it went?
Not as happy as what it could have been. I think it was a solid match. I think that Alex is honestly one of the nicest people you ever met. He's one of my favourite people in WZWA. I hate the fact that he doesn't come anymore, because he never replies to my messages or anything like that.
He is the worst with inboxes,
and I've probably been to more of his live music shows than any other person in WZWA, and that's not being nosy. It's just the fact that I like going to HQ and I like listening to all the bands. They're there, and if Alex is playing, I'll try and make an effort to be there. And I've been there with Acid. I've been there with Luke and Jack.
But you did hear on his podcast that he said that he does. Feel bad and
I did
he wants
hear that.
to take the time to hang out with you sometime.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that as well. But Alex and I
And
are
Alex
also
listens to all the podcasts.
yes, but Alex and I are also completely different people. Our interests in life, what we want out of life, how we feel about certain things that, we're really completely ends of the spectrum. But when it comes down to, personable, Alex is the most personal person you can reach. He has so much empathy for other people, it's amazing. You know, you could never be with. Like the only,
I love Alex.
The only people, there's only two people in the world that I could say are nicer than Alex, and that's Ryan and Lily. You know, those are
that's pretty true.
Those are the only two people I could say are not, or you know, like Mugambi or something like that.
I don't know anyone that has any bad words to say about Ryan.
You know,
and I don't know anyone that has anything bad to say about Alex.
You know,
Alex
but
is
you know,
a good egg.
Oh,
I love him. I love him.
Yeah, he's top notch bloke, and the match was good, but you know, Alex, you got to come back, and we got to have another match one day because we can do better, mate. Straight up.
Yeah, I hope Alex will come back one day because he wants to do the Chris Jericho thing every now and then. Pop in for a cup of coffee. Let's get to the next show, WZWA Pro Wrestling. Very aptly named, considering the two guys are currently also doing pro wrestling at the same time as doing backyard wrestling.
Is this where we get to talk about AAW? Or is that later on in the show?
No, that's later on in the show, man.
Alright, I won't rant about AAW.
But
I'm seething at the bits of rant.
I know you want to rant, but look, we're an hour into it and we're only up to me versus you last year, so...
Yep.
The Battle of the Drunkards, as I've written down. Man, how many beers have you had? 7?
No, I had 5 beers, but I had 3 shots of vodka.
Yeah.
5 beers and 3 shots of vodka.
What was compelling us that night? I don't know. I was loaded.
I think
I was 10 beers in.
I don't know. It was just the way events transpired. It just happened.
We'll have to watch the match after the podcast.
I want to watch it again.
I can't remember.
I love the brawl at the end of the match as well, because there's nobody in professional wrestling, not even WWE, that does a crisper punch than you do. No fucking person. I have never seen.
If someone keeps their chin waiting there, then it looks good.
Like me? Like me?
Yes, like
me.
You just wait.
Someone who's not afraid. Like
you wait to hear me go.
If you punch me as hard as you possibly could, I wouldn't care. You'd cop a receipt later in the match, and that's it. You know, right? Because I know that you're not intentionally trying to hurt me, right? I'm willing to.
But every time I've punched you in the face, I don't even know if I've actually connected properly. I think I've done the slight connection, but I don't think I've actually hit you.
Because I wait for that. As soon as I feel not the clap, not even the clap, just the feeling. As soon as like with Jacob. Okay, I'm sorry, I am jumping the gun again but this really does reference the match that I'm talking about with you. When I was facing Jacob at Wrestlution, I told him, punch me, make sure they connect. And he goes, why do you want me to stiff you? I said, I didn't say stiff me. I said, make sure they connect. If you stiff me, I don't care, right? And I said the same thing to Steele when I was facing Steele. I was like, make sure you connect. And then he went up to you after the match saying he wanted me to actually punch him. Yeah, you know? And that's what it is. It's like wrestling is supposed to make it look as real as possible.
You gotta be snug, man.
You're trying to make the people who are watching it think that it's real. Like, even if in the back of their mind that they know it's fake and it's all predetermined, which every wrestling fan knows after the age of 7, you know it's fucking predetermined, all this shit. But you want the moments where you go, holy fucking shit, that cunt just got his head knocked off.
Yeah.
You know? Like, copying a super kick from you, Aston. You know, it's just, poof. You wait for that light little touch, because you with your super kicks is so... I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how I do it.
I don't know how you do it. But, like, just...
I don't know how I do it.
The toes of your boot... Literally, you feel the tiniest
I
little...
every time I do it, I usually hit them in the face, but it's never...
the tiniest little brush.
And I don't know how I do it.
It feels like someone's thrown a piece of sand at you.
Like,
literally.
I can't actually teach anyone how to do it, because I don't even know how I do it.
You know.
It's just a natural thing that I've learned now.
But like the Shark and JD Flame, you can't do it. No one...
JD Flame?
Sorry.
The Shark and James Grace.
James Grace. Justin, I am so sorry. Justin, I'm sorry. I will never compare you to him again.
Let's get back onto the match with me and you.
Well, the match with me... come on, DJ ranted for ages. No, the match with you and I was... I would say it wasn't as good as our RCWS match.
Yeah, I think we can do way better.
I think that our RCWS match was good.
I think I was expecting Matt to the show, but I think that went to Ice and Alex.
Yes. Yeah,
so.
Definitely that show, definitely, hands down. But I remember that show very clearly, because we're getting closer to where we are now. So I'm remembering things a bit better. I remember fighting with you about the ending of the match. I thought I should go over, and you thought that neither of us can win at that point, because I think it was at the stage.
It was because
where the next show was Alex was supposed to win. Yeah, now we're up to the bit where I cut the promo where I was like, I'm next in line for the title shot. This is the bit where I'm in. That's where.
And
I cut
that's
the promo.
when I say no. There's
you should be worrying about your title.
Yeah, and we haven't figured out who the best of me, Alex, and Ice is, because we're doing the three-way at hard time, where Dan Zeppelin ends up becoming champion, which is mental.
Yeah.
But before we even get to that, let's talk about Backyard TV, the next show
against
Steel
Steely
Kemsley. This got number 2 holy shit moment of the year was the ending of that match. But take us through the planning with Steel, someone who's a little bit less experienced.
Before the planning, I want to tell you the backstory of why I
talk about it all. I got to wait.
Why I asked for this match. The main reason that I asked for this match is this is the same point as where DJ decided that he wanted to help Steel, and I really wanted to help Steel at the same time. I thought that the combination of DJ and I's knowledge would bring Steel up to a new level. It would put him on the map in the WZWA. And so I asked Carl. Carl was like, yes, do it. Go ahead. Apparently Luke Monet said to me that he wanted to do it as well. And I'm not sure, but like I think he's maybe stealing credit from me. I'm not 100% sure. But I wanted to have this match with Steel and just say to him, like, you, mate, you have so much more potential than what you're showing. If you just apply yourself and get shown a little bit. And I went over a shoulder tackle and bump with him 30 times before the match even started. I wanted him to do an international spot perfectly, and he couldn't do it.
I think a lot of people tend to give DJ a lot of credit for Steel's progression, but what they don't realise is that every single show you got in the ring with him.
Yeah, because DJ asked me. Because DJ's not as able-bodied as I am, obviously, right?
Yes.
So he's not able to like crispy.
But I think people just forget
perfectly.
that you were actually doing that.
Yeah, but like DJ deserves more credit than I do anyway.
Oh, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, you deserve a little bit, just a little bit. Just
a smidgen for getting Steel that little bit more over.
It's because like after he wrestled you, suddenly he was like he was more physical.
He learned. I think the biggest thing that he took from that match, I can't really speak for him, but I think that the biggest thing that he took from that match is that when he would do a move, he'd then walk away from his opponent and try and think about another move. Yeah. You know, I was saying to him, I was like, never do that. You never do that. I was like, if you can't think of something, just lay punches into me while you're thinking. And I was like, and if you can't think of something, ask me. Just ask me as you're laying punches.
Grab a hold.
Because I'm going to sell. I can still listen while I'm selling. You know, you learn this as you're wrestling. Like, you could be screaming at the top of your lungs, and this cunt could whisper to you, and eventually you'll be able to just hear them. Like, I don't know why. I have the worst hearing on earth. I'm semi-industrial deaf because of tree lopping. I never wear hearing protection while I'm tree lopping. So, like, you know, I should do, but like, I'm not even tree lopping anymore. So I can barely hear shit when people are talking to me normally. But when it comes to wrestling, like, you whisper the quietest thing to me and I'll be able to hear it. I don't know why. It's just because that mindset that you're in. So I said to Steel, just stay on me. Like, if you're gonna beat me up and get me into a corner, stay on me. You know, and when the beginning of the match was an international spot, and he could not do a leapfrog to save his life.
No,
he could not do a leapfrog. And Eli. Eli needs a bit of credit for this because Eli was at that show and he said to me, he was like, Steele's taking your shoulder tackles like a pussy, just charge through him. So I did. I just charged through him with the shoulder tackle.
That's some good advice.
And it forced him to bump. It forced him to bump properly.
Yeah.
And it worked. So yeah, he bumped properly. I hit the ropes, dropped down, I come past him again, he sidesteps. Fucking cactus clothesline. Cactus clothesline. That's the biggest pop Steel has ever got, was that cactus clothesline.
That was wicked.
And I told Steel, I was like, you clothesline me to the outside, I'm going to sell around to the birdcage side of the ring, you follow me, hit me in the back of the head, bring me to the front of the ring, where everyone is.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that to Jacob as well. When Jacob threw me onto the back of the ring, I was like, I'm going to walk around the front, follow me.
Okay.
You know, I don't know why, it's a recurring thing in my matches, I should stop it, but Steel, boom, bring me to the front of the ring, in front of everyone, lay into me. Make sure you connect with those hits. Like, I don't care if you fucking knock a tooth out, mate. Just fucking make sure that those hits look crisp. Because if you make it look shit, I'm going to be pissed off. Because if you look shit, I look shit. That's the biggest thing. But it takes two to tango.
Takes two to tango.
When people say that Shawn Michaels in WWE, like, Shawn Michaels had an amazing match with this guy. He made this guy look so good. He didn't make anyone look good. That person made themselves look good. If you're going to be a shit cunt in the ring, it doesn't matter how brilliant the other guy is, you're still going to be a shit cunt. Like, it doesn't matter. You both have to be on the same level, like, working the match. You can, and I said to you before the match, I've come up with this idea for the ending. Yeah. I was like, originally I wanted Steel to get the clean win, but I thought that this would be a better storyline build for my match with DJ.
Yeah.
It was if Steel hits me with his finisher, but then he goes over the DJ and talks to him for a second before he does the pin, and DJ's like, what are you doing? Pin him. So he pins me, and as he's pinning me, I kick out, he argues with the ref, and then I roll him up and get 2 count. I've almost beat him. And then DJ goes, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, you should learn. And then Steel's too busy looking elsewhere, and then DJ goes, you're not listening to me, slaps him across the face. Referee goes, that's a disqualification. You lose. Bullshit, you lose.
What an absolute bunch of bullshit.
But like the pop that it got, and DJ's reaction. DJ's reaction made it the best.
We won. Just that pause and realization.
Yes,
he sold it so well.
That's what made it. And like when I told DJ at the ending of the match as well, he's like, "Oh yes, I cannot wait for this. This is going to be brilliant."
But I will say it was a fucking great moment, great match, and it really brought Steel to the dance. Yeah, no pun intended. Party boy Steel Kemsley.
I'm just so glad that I got to have that match with Steel. Like it was a fun little match. Like it only went for about 10 minutes, but like it did what it needed to do.
Yeah,
and it got the message across that Steel is someone that you should be paying attention to. It's not someone that you put in a match with Jack Wallace's fucking El Papacito or whatever. He's someone who has the ability. He just needs a little bit of guidance to get there.
All right. Well, what was I going to say? From there, actually, I do want to ask you just a little side question. What you think you feel Backyard TV it has been important?
Yes.
And do you feel it sucks that we haven't done it all year?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think
we've only done 10 episodes.
Backyard TV, when it comes to character development, it is crucial. It's like, okay, when people negate superstars in WWE, when superstars first started, not what it turned into. When superstars first started, it was like pretty much, you compare it as like their third show. You know what I mean? It was like there was still the character development. They're still carrying on storylines, and you also got to see matches that you wouldn't usually get to see.
And I'll compare that to Sunday Night Heat. Back in the day,
it
was so good.
Well, you're older than
before
me,
Heat became Heat. It was Sunday Night Heat, and it was like what Superstars was when it first started.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but you get the actual like production value of what a real wrestling show on TV is when we watch Backyard TV. I know Anthony Husband fucking loves Backyard TV.
I love it too because I get to commentate on the matches and it's funny.
Yeah, it's fun. And not only that, but like you also don't have as much pressure for Backyard TV as well.
Yeah, I think it's just to go out there, loosen up a little bit. If someone needs a win, they can get a win on Backyard TV.
Yeah, and it's not like the wins. Like the losses aren't important on Backyard TV, if you know what I mean. Like if you lose, it's no big deal.
Like I lost to Hydro.
But if you win, it's an elevation.
I think I lost to Hydro on episode 10 of Backyard TV, the main event.
Exactly, Backyard TV. The match with Steel was on Backyard TV, right? To say that match with Steel is not important and that it didn't do anything for Steel's career is bullshit, because it did. It brought Steel up to another level, right? So Backyard TV is important. Yes, it is, and It's good for the production value. It's good for media. It's all around good. There's no negatives to doing Backyard TV. I just wish we could
get fucking organised and get it done. 3 matches in 1 hour when they're only 3, 4, 5 minute long matches. You have Papacito versus Kai Fusion. Colin versus Ryan Tate, and then the main event will have Hydro versus Deacon Whalen.
Yeah. Like it should really be like 5 minutes for the opener, 10 minutes for the second, and then 15 to 20 minutes for the main. That's it. Done. Yeah. Quick little squash match, a nice like little teaser for the main event, and then the main event.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it needs to be.
And the main event's a nice little competitive match.
And not only that, but we also get to add like the sort of like the tales of the Warzone comedy part to it as well.
Because like I'm on the commentary, so I'm being silly and people having fun.
Rex Regum in the best shape of his career.
Like, see, we wouldn't have got that because apparently I'm not allowed to commentate matches. You know, I pitched the idea of maybe I could commentate every match on the show live, so then when you watch it back, people watching can get the backstory and understand what's going on.
Commentary
but
adds
Jacob and
so
Mitch
much
and
to a
everyone
show.
was like, no commentary. I'm like, fine. Do it in post-production. I'm like, nah, I'm not worrying about that.
No, post-production's... when you're commentating on something post-production, it's not a real emotion.
I know, I want that legitimate feeling as I'm seeing it take place.
It's like, because you don't know what they're going to do. You know the outcome, but you don't know what they're going to do.
The one time I ever did it was on an Esqueleto match. I did it in post-production because I was obviously wrestling in the match and no one commentated. But anyway, let's get away from Backyard TV. I do think it's important. I talked about Blade on his podcast. I still haven't uploaded it, but he thinks it's important too. So I'm hoping next show, now that we have a couple of people who've dropped off the roster, not talking about that tonight, but a couple of people have dropped off the roster, so we might be able to fit in more Backyard TV in the future. Let's move forward now. Hard Time 3, you take on Daniel Johnston. You drop the championship to him. Are you happy about dropping the title to him?
Yeah.
After that match on Aussie Anarchy, I knew DJ was going to be the next champion.
You know, that fucking... When I dropped it to DJ, I think... Yeah. What I was pitching to you at that point, that there was two people I wanted to drop it to. Deacon or Phaser. Those are the two people. Like, DJ hadn't even come across my mind. But that's also because I hadn't known the backstory around DJ's Yarding career and the fact that he didn't hold the belt yet. You know, that I thought he'd held it like 10 times by now.
He was UWF champion.
Yeah. Not like,
I don't even think he won ICWS title.
You see, I didn't even know that. I thought DJ would have been top dog so many times. Otherwise, I would have pitched DJ as one of them, right? But when I had the championship, I was looking to put one of the younger guys, not one of the younger because Phaser's older than me, but one of the new guys. You know,
I knew Phaser wasn't going to be the guy because I knew he wasn't dedicated.
Yeah. So you saw in him that he wasn't dedicated enough, and the event I told him one event, right? I went up to him and mentioned him in his ear. I was like, I want you to be the next champion. I've spoken to Carl. I've spoken to Carl about it. It's not set in stone, but if you show up to all the shows, like, you know, there's a good chance you will be champion. The next show he didn't show up. The next fucking show he didn't show up.
You know what? And I did consider it for a second. I'd say for a second.
Yeah.
And by a second, I mean maybe a couple of days.
You know, he's a good entertainer. He's a good performer.
He's awesome.
He's good on the mic.
He's very good.
You know, and for someone who's been doing it, like, he's probably he's only had like 8 matches in total.
Something like that.
Something like that. You know, he's fucking brilliant for someone that's only, you know, no training whatsoever.
But you also wanted Deacon, did you?
Yeah, and Deacon.
See, I don't remember that. But
no, I said to you, Deacon or Phaser. Yeah, those are my two.
Okay.
And which is what led to later on then the track with Deacon. You know, with me pitching that I do Deacon.
Yeah.
But back onto the storyline with I had no problem dropping the belt with to DJ at all. The biggest problem I had was that I was not going to get the rematch because the timeline didn't account for it.
We would.
That's the only thing that is like. It confused me a little bit that I didn't get the rematch, but like it wasn't a huge issue. I didn't press the issue with you. Like, I deserve my rematch or anything like that. I didn't press that issue or anything. Like I understood that like
it is
we're on a time scale.
Yeah.
We need to get things done.
You get 12 shows a year. You got to.
It's not like WWE where you have like Monday
to be honest,
Night
we
Raw,
probably should have done a
Friday
rematch on a Backyard TV or something. You know.
Yeah, but like, you know, it's still. I had no problem dropping the belt to him. I think that like the match was a slight letdown because everyone was expecting us to go out there and top what had happened at
I think we all, and you guys probably were as well.
We were expecting to go out there and tear the house down, and I think we still had a fucking good match. It was still a good match, standing on its own, but when you compare it to the other one, it wasn't as good. But DJ will agree with me. You know, it's not a bad thing. It's just that's how it happened.
It wasn't a worse match. It was just a different match.
No. Yes, no. I will say that it was a different match, but it was a worse match in the same point. You know, we didn't have the emotional involvement of the crowd.
Yeah, the investment wasn't there.
Yeah. No, and that's what a wrestler aspires to, is to get. If you don't have that emotional investment, then what is the point? If someone's just sitting there going, "Oh yeah, it's another match," you know, what is the point then? You know, you're not creating anything. You're not creating a memory. When someone goes, "Holy shit," you know, when 6 months later you can remember exactly what happened on that one part, you know, that is what you want. When you just go, "Oh yeah, I remember that," but you actually remember nothing specifically, but you just remember the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's not what you want, you know.
Um,
And DJ and I have had lots of discussions about the match that we had where I dropped the title with him, and the match at Aussie Anarchy, and we both agree that the worst match that we had was at WZWA. You know, it's not like a bad match, but it's just the worst out of the matches that we've had together.
Well, you see, I would say the best matches Chaos and Three Dog had were in ICWS. It just, for some reason, can't seem to translate to WZWA.
Yeah, once
Low
again,
and Ice in ICWS, so much better than what they did in WZWA.
Yeah, once again, it's like, it's the when you're in the ring, there's so many more elements that you have to work with, and like, it becomes convoluted to a degree. And when you're on the base, it's just back to basics. You're like, you bang, 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 next move, next move, next move. You can do flips off the baits. You can, you know, you're not having to run the ropes. You're not using the turnbuckles. You know, you have to just be. It's just you and me. We don't have like a huge environment. Like, well, we do have the environment, but we don't have as many aspects to the environment. You know, so it's easier because you're not overthinking. You're not thinking, "Oh, I could go to the turnbuckle, or I could go to the top rope, or I could take it to the outside of the ring, or I could go to the apron." It's you're either on the base or on the grass. That's it.
Yeah. All right. So your feud with Ice is obviously continuing through all of this that's going on. And you cost him
Ice
the title in the
Ice
main
cost me the match.
He cost you the
DJ.
match?
Yeah.
And then
DJ.
you cost him the match in the main event?
Yep.
So
Same night.
you both win the title on the same night, and then you
both
lose
the title on the same night.
That wasn't by plan? Like,
It
when
just
I initially had you guys win the title?
I don't think it
just
was
seemed to
planned,
happen.
because it's like a year and a half later that
Yeah,
we lose.
there's
And
no way.
you typically plan from resolution to resolution.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, yes, there is a little bit more, but that's typically like what the storylines are based off of, is resolution.
If
to
only
resolution.
some pro feds out there would look at it like
12 months ahead, yeah.
Not 3 months ahead, and then when you
Do
get
you
to
know-
the second month, the
do you know
card
what's
has
funny?
completely changed.
Do you know what's
and
funny
then the
though?
third month it's completely changed.
What I just said then is like, I'm like, what I just said was like a semi-criticism. Is like, you're only booking from resolution to resolution, and then we think about the pro feds, they're only booking month to month. You know, so like, you know, when you think about it that way, you're like, your booking is way above.
Yeah. That's how you got to look, man. You got to just know where you're headed and then work back from there.
But like,
and how you're going to do it. And
not necessarily like. I think
but in background
when you're
wrestling,
booking, but
things change all the time.
Is it? Yeah, exactly. So,
It's-
is it when you're booking a card? Is it similar to like when you're planning a match at dot point? Because so many things can change.
Oh yeah, but well, like you always make sure that with everything that you've booked, you've got a plan B in place in case this guy can't come.
Yeah, and you
like if there's like say there's like you or Ryan, then you don't put a plan B because we know you'll be there.
Yeah.
But say it's like a Clint Marshall or a Phaser or a Three Dog where they have missed shows. You always put in a plan B just in case they're not going to be there. So there's always like a contingency plan just in case.
Yeah.
But you know,
this is now the Aston Crude podcast where I ask him questions.
No, but the feud with Ice is continuing. I do distinctly remember you telling me at one point that you thought the feud was becoming boring.
Okay, I may have used the words boring, but I did mean that. I meant as in the fact that we had been a tag team for so long and we're building it up so much, and then when it finally happened, it just felt like a huge letdown. And the fact that we didn't win Feud of the Year was a big letdown as well. I didn't think that it was becoming boring per se. I think that we just needed. I didn't think that we were getting as much involvement within the entirety of the show as what we needed. You know, I feel like maybe you and inadvertently were like sort of like in the spotlight more. And like the feuds, I know the way you were booking the feuds was that we're supposed to run parallel together. They're supposed to be just as important as each other.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way it came off is that like Alex Alex. That's the way the entirety of both feuds came off, was everything was Alex is going over, Alex is this, Alex is that, and I think that like we were trying to battle out of Alex's shadow, and I think maybe that's why I said I was finding it boring, but I never found it boring. I just found parts of it to be a letdown, like when I tackled Ice and he fucked his leg over, you know, like there's just parts that,
which we'll get to. That's a real
there's just parts that were just letdowns that and like when I broke my finger, that was a crucial moment in the feud as well, and in hindsight it's probably better, but at that point in time you're thinking this has gone wrong in the feud, this has gone wrong, you know, what is going on here, this is just turning into be a clusterfuck. Gotcha.
Another question I've got is Rex Regum never battles the other members of the Black Carnival, Scream or Esqueleto. Basically, since the feud with you and Ice began, Scream and Esqueleto aren't really to be seen. I think Scream did one thing on Backyard TV with Ice, and that was about it. But Esqueleto, I didn't do anything with him. And do you feel it was a mistake maybe to not have Rex wrestle the other Black Carnival members?
Yes and no. It's a difficult question to answer because like you really don't know whether or not it would be better.
Like on the Backyard TV, you beat Esqueleto, you beat Scream to build yourself up a little bit more.
I think maybe going into our last match, I think the only time it really would have been a benefit was going into the Stairway to Hell, was if like we had like...
Sorry, 3 stages of hell, you mean?
Yeah, yes, 3 stages of hell, yes, sorry, you're alright. If like, for example, because I just come off the loss from Ice, if then like I got the win over you and then I got the win over Scream, so then I had a bit of momentum going, I think like that would have probably made a bit of sense, but other than that I don't really say that it's a disappointment or letdown that I didn't wrestle the masked characters. I think that it maybe would have helped the feud a little bit after in between I lose the SPWS death match and I win the 3 stages of hell. I think maybe in between there was like the only time that it really would have helped.
Okay.
But other than that, like it would have been cool to like wrestle Low and wrestle you again. Like, you know, it's another chance to get to wrestle you guys and get put over and all that. But maybe if you asked me this question like a year and a half ago, I would have gone, "Oh God, yeah, like awesome!" I would have had 2 extra wins under my belt. But now, like thinking about it, it's like there's really only certain situations in which it would have improved the feud. Other than that, it just would have been extra matches.
Like even if there was a handicap match between you and them two.
Oh yeah, like maybe one handicap match where I get the win or something like that, you know, or it goes to a no contest because Ice gets involved, or something along those lines. Yeah.
So anyway, the first match of the feud begins at the following show. No DQ, you and Dark Eye. Well, I guess it's an SPWS deathmatch. I don't know.
Pretty much.
But yeah, you guys go 1-on-1 for the first time. Very, very good match.
I enjoyed that match.
Really good start to the feud. Start to the in-ring stuff with you guys in the feud. We'd built it up for fucking 4 months, so it was time for you guys to clash. And I thought it was a really, really good match.
Yeah. I think it was a solid match.
So does Men's Abs.
Up.
Oh, I love the way that big guy belly flopped onto the skinny guy.
Oh man, Jesus Christ! Do you know there's another comment on there from another poofter as well?
Yeah, on that match. There's like at least 3 of them.
Yeah, I think there's 3 comments on that match, and
there's guys that like you, Zibby and Jack.
No, sorry. Yeah, one of them said that he really wants to bust me. He wants to bust me.
Another guy messaged me on the WZWA page and asked me if I could ask Jack Wallace what it was like taking punishment to his abdomen.
All right, then.
And I'm just like, are you getting off on this,
Carl,
dude?
I'm quitting, mate. I'm quitting. I don't want to deal with this shit anymore.
And I don't know who this guy
was. As an advocate for same-sex marriage, this is disturbing.
I just don't like the fact that they're watching our wrestling and getting off on it.
Have you ever thought that maybe they're like troll accounts from like EPW or Schwa or something?
If they are, they're not doing a very good job.
They're pretty.
I'm just saying they're weird and that's it. Like I'm not actually like getting upset. I'm just like that's weird.
Oh, this match with Ice was
very good.
Very good, top notch. I believe like the planning of this match was this was the event that Mitch debuted the Samoan Joe backsplash and then the Pele. kick, yeah. That was the event that Mitch debuted it, which was like 2 matches before Ice did it, and Ice had said to me like 2 weeks beforehand that he wanted to do that, and he was fuming after Mitch did it. He was like, that little cunt. He's like, why did we have to be main event? Like, I was going to do it before him and all this shit. And like, and you know what? As soon as he said that to me, I was like, don't worry, man. He's like, I'll sell it better than the guy Mitchell's versing. And that's why when he does it, I fall over the top rope and go to the outside and everything. Yeah. But no, the match is really good. Like,
were you worried about taking his moonsault? I think it only ever hit on Chaos before. I don't think it hit on anyone else since then.
His moonsault was was 2 matches later.
No, he won the no DQ match with the moonsault.
And then no, you're a bit off here, mate.
No, the first
match was
during the day, and he won with the moonsault.
Okay, well, I've got my timeline wrong. I thought that the match that he fucked his leg was the match before that. So
no, the one in the middle was because that was the one you were going to win. Was the second one?
Yeah, the one that he fucked his leg. Yes. Okay, now I get it. Yes. So,
which is a
okay, so like,
another fucking thing that happens.
I'll negate that shit anyway.
But anyway,
alright, then yeah. So yeah, alright. Then that situation, then that match was just good match. I wasn't scared taking his moonsault. And do you know the match wasn't supposed to finish like that. The reason the match finished like that is because there was a part of the fucking thing I was like the Telstra sign that I was laying on. There was a thing in it that was digging into my back, but I couldn't feel it. And then when he hit the moonsault, I compressed down on it, and like I was just having sharp pains on the base of my spine where Joey Angel kicked it previously.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that was hurting, and I was like, man, my back is really sore. Just pin me. That's why he covers me with one arm, and he taps me on the chest afterwards.
Cool.
Yeah. But afterwards, after the match, I said to him, I was like, I'm really glad you won with the moonsault, because it was the first time he'd ever won with the moonsault.
Yeah.
He'd used the move a few times, and he's used it as a finisher as well, but he's never won with it.
Yeah.
So I thought that, in hindsight, like, even though I'd called it on the spot, in hindsight, it was a brilliant finish. Like, because everyone's always kicked out of the moonsault, so like, I don't think that people saw saw Ice winning at that point. I think that most people were thinking he's going to kick out Ice, So yeah, I think it was a bit better.
Next show is Lana's ass.
Yeah,
that's just a random.
She
show.
does have a tight ass, though.
Oh man, Jesus Christ!
Like,
forget about it.
I would lick that brown sphincter. Any day.
I would. If there was brown on it, it wouldn't be brown.
Like, man, she could have had just gone and done some like brutal diarrhea, and I'd still eat it.
Oh my god, let's fucking do it. Yeah, let's fucking do it.
Like quote Jim Jeffries, like, there would be cunt in her pussy, and I'd still eat it.
Yeah,
like, straight away.
So anyway,
shit in her pussy. I just said cunt in her pussy. Like, yeah, but shit in her pussy.
Anyway, the match with Chaos. It was actually supposed to be 3 recordings of Backyard TV, but instead we just did 1 show.
Yeah.
Because we were like, well, we got enough people here. Let's just do a little show.
Yeah, I remember that. I was supposed to have 2 matches that day.
Yeah,
it just ended up being 1.
Yeah,
I was supposed to,
because we had so many people there. I was
supposed to face Jack in a singles match and Chaos in a singles match. Yeah,
gotcha.
I remember now. Yes.
So yeah, it was a very good match, and it was a very fun little show. And the next thing I want to ask you is, what does Kilowatt Chaos mean to the career of Rex Regum?
Okay, alright, straight up, fuck my career. What Kilowatt Chaos means to my life, man, is so incredible. I would not be the person I am today without this guy. Okay, Chaos and Ice are my brothers. Without, I've often said to like my dad and everything that like these people are awesome. I remember having a conversation where Chaos was over at mine for like a week, because Aaron and Chaos, this is before Chaos had even moved into mine because my mum was still living there. Aaron and Chaos basically lived in my house for like 3 months straight.
I remember that. Aaron was always there. Yeah,
Aaron was fucking like driving to work during the week, like down the fucking Mandurah, and then coming back up to mine instead of going home. So that sort of stuff, right?
Fucking
it was brilliant though. It was like awesome times, man, like awesome times. But like, what I'm really trying to put into words something that cannot be put into words, which is what Chaos means to me, man. Like, he's my brother. Like, if he was to die tomorrow, I would not know what I would do, man. Like, literally, like, it would be fucking the end of me as I know it. Like, Like, these two people are, like, I'm the oldest out of my family, so, like, these two people are the older brothers that I never had.
Yeah, very good.
So, yeah, you know, that's the only way I can describe it, is, like, this is Ice and Chaos.
Okay.
Yeah, so that...
Well, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just letting you know we're an hour and a half into part 2. It's 11:45.
Nice.
The time has just fucking gone by.
Nice.
But let's really try and charge through the last part, because we still got a Q&A to do. But, you know, there's no problem. It's Saturday night. The neighbours can deal with us yarning out here. The next show, I believe, is Clash of the Triads. Team Hardcore, which was supposed to be you, Chaos, and Three Dog. The three guys that were in the end of the tournament. Three Dog doesn't show up, so Hydro somehow manages to get to Team
I was so
Hardcore.
sick tagging with Hydro though, man. He's an awesome guy. I love him so much.
He's
top
wicked.
notch bloke. Top notch bloke.
But yeah, I reckon that was without a doubt one of the most fun events we've ever had, the Trios
Yeah,
tournament.
and you know what? It's the only event that Brandon Cage ever did anything good.
Oh. Whoa, shots fired.
Shots fired.
Do you not like him?
You know, I would like him if he wasn't a cunt to me. Every time I've ever had a conversation with him, he's just been an arrogant prick to me. Like, he just has that factor about him where he thinks he's better than everyone else.
Yeah, I kind of got a bit of a vibe that maybe he just didn't want to become like proper friends with us. He just wanted somewhere to wrestle.
What went on with our pay attire there? Like, I'm gonna start a clothing line, and then it
Prints
gets
out
closed.
3 shirts, closes the clothing brand.
Like, and Dan Zeppelin bought one of those shirts. Like, he deserves his money back straight away.
Well, to me, Brandon's always been very cool with me, like outside of the wrestling part, but inside the wrestling part, pain in the ass.
No,
But,
all of it. He's been a prick to me. All of it.
well, anyway, aside from that, the tournament, you like it?
Yeah, I was sick. I love the
Man,
tournament.
I mean, that fucking...
Okay, I would say
Team
the
Hardcore
only
versus Team
thing
Rising
I
Star.
had wrong with that tournament was that I was supposed to be in the main event, but Ty cracked their shits.
Yeah.
Ty was
For
upset.
those playing at home, the main event, you know, the Team WZWA Originals, Acid had turned his back on the franchise in both matches, but somehow the franchise got through to the finals. So Acid wasn't even going to come out for the main event. So then the franchise will be battling Team ICWS 3-on-2, and then all of a sudden Rex Regum's theme was going to hit, and he was, because he's an original, he's going to join them, and Team
original.
ICWS would be like, you know what, let's do it, let's count it, you know.
Yeah.
So it would have been like pretty cool.
Yeah, well,
But Asa was annoyed. He was like, you know, I haven't even wrestled all day. I want to be able to get in there and do some shit.
yeah.
I'm like, all right, well.
You know, in hindsight, it just meant Barrett couldn't drop me on my head for the second time of the day. I swear, man, I had a concussion because of that, eh? That's
You
why
probably did, man.
I sat on the side of the
And
ring.
I'm surprised because he's hit that move many times, and
I sat on the side of the ring for 5 minutes after it happened, holding my head, going, fuck. It feels like I've just taken, like, fucking a hit of heroin or some shit. I don't know, man. Whatever, you know, I was gone. My head was in... It felt like I had put my head on a concrete slab and someone just got a sledgehammer and gone, boof. That's the only way I can describe it, man. It was incredibly, like, the moonsault I did off the scaffolding in which I landed on my head did not hurt as much as what that did.
Okay. So you had fun at Clash.
Oh yeah, I had lots of fun from what I can remember.
Okay, we got to keep going through, bro. We get into Rampage. You take on Dark Ice. You spear him to open the match, and he injures his Achilles heel. I felt for you. I was like, fuck, he was going to get a win over him.
I was fuming.
I bet you couldn't
yet
believe
again.
it. I bet you couldn't believe it. You know what? Looking back, I should have thought of my toes. Should have got Esqueleto and Scream to come out for a handicap match.
Oh yeah, but like,
But
I don't think you even had your gear or Low. Low wasn't at that show either. Low wasn't there.
Oh, must not have been.
So Low wasn't there.
Was
You didn't have your gear. You know, it was impossible for like any other thing to happen. And then
that's why I didn't even have Esqueleto gear on me. So.
the only fucking the worst thing that could possibly happen happened. He fucking ruins his leg. And you know what? Like,
I always said he should never wear those boots when he wrestles.
Yeah. Thank God he stopped. Thank God he stopped wearing the boots. He doesn't wear them anymore. He got kick pads.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's all I'm going to say. But Of course it had to be me. It had to be me that it happened to.
It had to be you.
Yep, man.
It had to be you.
I mean, I feel like quoting Paul Keating
I'm
here.
wandering around.
I feel like
Ice's
genitals.
Ice's Achilles heels fucked up.
You know, but like literally,
It had to be you.
I have to quote Paul Keating here, and is that all we have? Is that all we have? Because seriously, like that, out of the entire feud I had with Ice, that was the only match that we had actually planned spots in as well. The 3 stages of hell, like we planned the finish of each stage, but that was it. Like in the match where I fucked his leg, we'd actually planned like 20 spots. Like actually, like properly sat down. I was like, yeah, let's actually go. For me to actually plan spots, I have to like physically envision the entire match in order for me to be able to do that. Otherwise, I feel it just destroys the flow. Like, but that's just me personally. Like, you get people like Macho Man, Randy Savage, and then like fucking the Ultimate Warrior. Macho Man would sit down and plan every single part of his match, and Ultimate Warrior just go out there and wing the whole thing. Yeah. You know, but those two people, when they had a match together, it was awesome. Yeah. So styles come together, and you change and you elaborate. But I'd literally spent like 3 hours planning out this match, and then it fucks all up. And so the the 3 stages of hell.
Let's get on to it. Frostbite the next month. 3 stages of hell. Dark Ice versus Rex Regum. Hell of a match. That's the main event of the show.
Yep. I remember that. You had the last man standing match that show
against Delcano.
Yeah, and I asked you why that wasn't the main event, and you turned around and said, because I don't want to follow you and Ice. That's what you said. Yeah. I don't want to have to follow you.
I didn't want anyone to have to follow it because I knew it would be too epic to be followed. So
the finish of that. Okay. What I just said before was bullshit, because like the actual finish of that match we had planned, which was I was just gonna STO off the top rope. STO off the top rope.
Oh, really?
That's what it was, right? And then he's laying on the ground, and he was dead, man. That's why when we had the double down, and then we get up and clothesline each other and have another double down. Yeah. It's because Ice was that knackered in that match. He couldn't breathe properly. He was dying. He was literally. And I was like, double down, and then it gets to 9.
It was a long match.
I was like, clothesline me, another double down, and he said thank you. He said thank you when I called the second double down. He said thank you to me. So yeah, that just shows like how intense we were in that match. But yeah, so the ending of that match was just Ice going, stomp my head in. That's all he said to me, go stomp my head in. So I drop a bunch of knee drops on him. The second knee drop I do actually lands fully on his temple, like just an actual proper knee drop. And I'm like, oh fuck, sorry man, I just dropped my entire weight on your head. But alright, no worries, let's continue. But to think about that match, it was a culmination to the feud that had gone for 2 years. The storyline had gone for 2 years, like 2.5 years by this stage.
Yeah.
So to think about it that way, it was
me and Alex too.
Yeah.
I think me and Alex had one more show after that.
Yeah.
Or 2 more shows.
So like the entirety of it was coming to a culmination in that one point. And I think Ice and I probably could have had a better match, but I feel like that the fact that he was still semi-injured as well played a part. He was still limping around, his leg was a little bit fucked. Like at the end of the match, his leg had seized up right again, like he could barely walk after the match again. So I think that his injury played a bit of a part in that. As a whole, it was brilliant, but it was just like me breaking my finger, Ice hurting his leg, then him carrying an injury into the last match as well, sort of like had a big effect on the overall of the feud as well. Like, yeah. So it was brilliant, but like it wasn't awe-inspiring.
Gotcha. I still feel like it was an amazing end to a long story that you guys told over 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end this part with one more question, and then we're going to do a part 3.
Yep.
What does Dark Ice mean to the career of Rex Regum?
Well, I explained it when I explained Chaos, is that he's my brother. Like, both him and Chaos, like, you cannot put it into the words that they are, Ice and Chaos are the older brothers I never had. There's no other way of saying it. You know, I could sit here and do a whole other podcast with you in what they mean
just
to me,
about them,
and
yeah.
what they mean to me as people, not just in wrestling. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't even be able to cover like the love and respect I have for those two men.
Excellent,
You know,
dude.
it's almost at the point where I'd turn homo for them. So you know,
do you feel you learned a lot from Ice?
I'd say that we both learnt a lot off of each other. I matured because of Ice. I growed up because of Ice, and I think Ice got more of like the wrestling side from me.
Excellent.
I think I got like more.
I think you can
I think
tell
I got.
by
I think
that
I got
point
of
he
more.
started to become more of a
Yeah.
whole package
Yeah,
wrestler,
but
not
like-
just the same thing that he was doing before. He
Yeah.
had different-
I feel like I brought him to another level as a wrestler, but he brought me as another level as a person and like being a part of the group.
Yeah.
I think that would be an easy way of putting it, pretty much. You know?
Excellent, Rex. Well explained. And then we will come back with the part 3, and then we'll nail the Q&A. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. The GBYWN Australia podcast, part 2 with Rex Regum. We will be with you for part 3 very shortly here. Thank you very much for listening.